So when I say the word multiverse, what pops into your head? Probably something about cutting-edge physics, right? Or maybe the latest superhero flick. It just feels like the super new, totally mind-bending concept.
I mean, it's the ultimate question, isn't it? But what if I told you the clues to answer it weren't buried in some high-tech particle accelerator, but in an ancient library? What if this whole multiverse thing isn't new at all? What if it's actually thousands of years old?
Okay, let's just dive right in, because what we're about to unpack here is, well, it's a pretty shocking parallel. You've got modern quantum mechanics over on one side, and on the other, these ancient Hindu scriptures called the Puranas. And somehow, impossibly, they both seem to be talking about the exact same thing, a reality just jam-packed with infinite universes.
All right, so let's tackle the biggest, most direct comparison first. This whole idea that our universe isn't the only game in town, that it's just one of, well, countless others, all existing at the very same time.
And get this, look at the language they used. The ancient Puranas didn't just casually mention other worlds. No, they used this one specific phrase again and again, Ananta Koti Brahmanda, and it literally means countless cosmic eggs. Can you picture that? They were imagining entire universes as these little bubbles, just floating around in some giant cosmic ocean. And they didn't think these universes were all cookie-cutter copies either. They imagined each one as totally distinct. Each one had its own creator, a Brahma, and the complexity of that creator was scaled to the size of its universe. So it's not one single creation event, it's more like a whole system of countless individual creations happening all over the place. So you gotta wonder, right? Were these ancient writers just getting really, really poetic? Was this just a grand metaphor? Or were they actually describing something fundamental about how reality works? Okay, now let's see how modern physics ended up wrestling with the very same idea. Okay, so let's fast forward a few thousand years. We're in 1957. There's this brilliant PhD student, Hugh Everett, and he's stuck on this massive problem in quantum mechanics called the measurement problem. And the solution he came up with was, well, it was radical. He basically asked, what if the universe is constantly splitting into parallel versions of itself? So here's the gist of it. You know how in quantum physics, before you measure something, it exists in a cloud of possibilities? The old idea was that your measurement collapses all those possibilities into just one reality. Everett said, nope. He suggested that all the possibilities actually happen. The universe just branches off, creating a whole new separate world for each and every outcome. Think about Schrodinger's cat, that famous thought experiment where the cat is both alive and dead at the same time. Well, in Everett's many worlds view, there's no paradox. The moment you open the box, the universe splits. In one universe, you find a live cat. In a parallel universe, you find a dead one, and both are 100% real.
Okay, but it gets even deeper. The parallel isn't just that there are lots of worlds existing side by side. It's also about how these universes come and go, how they have life cycles, being born, dying, and maybe being born all over again.
So, in one of the most important Hindu texts, the Bhagavata Purana, you get this absolutely incredible image. There's this cosmic being, Mahavishnu, and he's just lying there in what they call a causal ocean, basically the source code of all physical reality. And then, as he breathes out, just one single exhalation, countless universes literally emerge from the pores of his skin. Each one is a Brahmanda, a cosmic egg, and they just float out into this ocean. And we're not talking about planets or galaxies here. We're talking about entire universes.
But here's the thing. It's not a one-and-done deal. This whole creation thing is just one part of a giant cosmic cycle. After an immense amount of time, the whole process just starts to run in reverse.
So when he finally inhales, all those universes that were born from his breath get pulled back in. They dissolve, returning to their source, just waiting for the next great exhalation. What this really drives home is that creation isn't some single epic event. It's more like an endless cosmic rhythm. A breath in, a breath out. Okay, this is the part that honestly gives me chills. Because this ancient idea sounds so familiar. It's incredibly similar to some modern cosmological theories, like the cyclic universe theory. That's the idea that our Big Bang wasn't the first, and it won't be the last. That maybe our universe will eventually collapse back in on itself in a big crunch, and then, boom, a new Big Bang, an eternal cycle of cosmic birth, death, and rebirth. And as if multi-universes weren't enough, these ancient texts also seem to have this this really intuitive grasp of another idea that would completely revolutionize physics. The idea that time isn't fixed. Okay, check out this story also from the Bhagavata Purana. You've got this king, King Kakudmi. He travels to a different realm, a higher dimension, to meet the creator, Brahma. And while he's there, he just waits for a few minutes while a musical performance finishes up. Just the length of a song. But when he gets back to Earth, everything is different. Millions of years have passed. Everyone he ever knew, his entire kingdom, is just gone.
And they're not just being vague about it, saying a long time passed. No, the texts get super specific. They say that one single day for Brahma is equal to 4.32 billion years on Earth. That's just, that's an absolutely staggering number. It's deep, deep cosmic time. And this is just wild because this ancient story is basically a perfect little parable for Einstein's theory of relativity. It's the core idea that time isn't some constant ticking clock for everyone. It's relative. It can slow down, it can speed up, depending on things like gravity and how fast you're moving. We're talking thousands of years before Einstein, and here's a story describing a king experiencing what we now call extreme time dilation. It's incredible.
All right, our last parallel, this one might be the most mind-bending of them all. This one gets right to the heart of what reality even is, and the bizarre role that we, you and me, the observers, might play in actually creating it. So in Hindu philosophy, there's this really important concept called Maya. The basic idea is that the world we experience every day, what we see, touch, and hear, isn't the real reality. It's more like an illusion or maybe a projection that our consciousness is tuned into, and it's hiding a much deeper, more fundamental truth underneath. And this is where modern science comes back in and things get super weird. Because quantum mechanics discovered something that sounds eerily similar. It goes back to that measurement problem. See, at the tiniest quantum level, particles don't have definite properties. They just exist in this fuzzy cloud of all possibilities at once. But the instant we try to look at one, poof, it snaps into one single definite state. It's almost as if the simple act of looking at reality is what forces it to become real. So, after going through all of this, what do we do with it? What are we supposed to make of these incredible echoes across millennia of human thought?
This table just lays it out so clearly. You've got Ananta Koti Brahmanda, these infinite cosmic eggs, right next to the many worlds interpretation. You have the cosmic breath of Mahavishnu next to the Big Bang/Big Crunch theory, the story of King Kakudmi's time travel next to Einstein's time dilation, and the concept of Maya right alongside the quantum measurement problem. On one side, you have myth and spiritual stories. On the other, you have cold, hard mathematical equations. But the core ideas, they are just hauntingly, undeniably similar.
So it all comes down to this one profound question. Are these just amazing coincidences? Is this just the human brain separated by thousands of years, trying to make sense of a vast cosmos and coming up with similar stories? Or are we looking at the same fundamental truth about the universe, just described in two totally different languages? The language of ancient introspection versus the modern language of scientific experimentation. We don't have the answer, but that echo across the ages, it's just impossible to ignore.